everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rebecca. This is Rebecca Reacts, and today I'm reacting to a very highly requested video. The video that I'm watching is called How Britain Stole $45 Trillion from India with Trains. Very interesting. A lot of people have asked me to react to this. This video only went up a week and a bit ago, so it's still quite new, but I've had so many requests on it that I was like, okay, I finally got time to sit down and film it. So that's what we're doing today. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when I next upload. And if you have any other videos you want me to react to, please put the links to them in the comments below. But yeah, let's watch this video.
There is a kind of half-assed liberal idea that while colonialism wasn't great, at least Britain gave India the trains. And maybe that's something they should be thankful for. After all, trains are pretty useful, especially in the 7th largest country on earth. So, colonialism, maybe not all that bad? Unfortunately, Britain also stole $45 trillion from India, all the while exploiting religious divisions between the Hindu and Muslim communities and further turning them against each other. And those beloved railways, they became the sites of mass slaughter while Britain sat back and watched. Empires of Dirt, a show about Europeans getting rich at the expense of everyone else. Britain first got involved in India through the East India Company, which had its headquarters right here on Leadenhall Street. A private company owned by London stockholders, the East India Company grew over the next 300 years to become a quasi-governmental body with its own army and laws responsible for trading spices, cotton, silk and tea all over the world. By 1858, ownership of the East India Company had been transferred to Queen Victoria after the failed Indian Rebellion. Trains were the brainchild of British engineers. The East India Company would use railways to transport exploited resources like cotton and coal more efficiently around India. And it worked. Between 1853 and 1924, a railway network was created to help Britain extract from India relentlessly. And it's not like we gave India the railways either, by the way. We made India pay for them, and we ripped them off in the process. Despite Indian mechanics having their own efficient cheap designs, Britain made India buy trains from them. Between 1854 and 1947, over 14,000 locomotives were imported from the UK to India. Initially, Indians weren't even allowed to work on the trains. They were staffed entirely by white people, from the board directors to the ticket collectors. The railways made little profit, but British shareholders who invested in its construction made vast returns, guaranteed at the expense of Indian taxpayers who had to pay for it. India's railways were basically like someone burgling your house, building a ramp to wheel all your stuff out, sending you a bill for that ramp, and expecting a round of applause at the end of it.
Oh my gosh.
Now that the railways were built, Britain could get down to the task at hand, squeezing India for every last ounce of profit. They were really good at it. In the 1600s, when the East India Company was established, Britain accounted for less than 2% of the world's GDP, while India accounted for almost a quarter of it. By the 18th century, Britain had become one of the most powerful empires in the world, while the prosperity of the Mughal Empire was fading fast. Britain relentlessly squeezed India for every last bit of resource for its own uses. In 1943, up to 4 million Bengalis starved to death, partly because their food was diverted towards British soldiers during World War II. Winston Churchill said the famine was their own fault for breeding like rabbits. After it was no longer profitable to remain in India, and after receiving huge pressure from the Indian independence movement, the British finally left in 1947. Before they went, they split the country into two: Hindu-majority India and Muslim-majority Pakistan, in an act that became known as Partition. But in their haste to get out of the country, British diplomats arranged a shoddy partition agreement that ignored the fact there would be interreligious conflict. Cyril Radcliffe, the British lawyer assigned to draw the borders of Pakistan and India, was given 40 days to do it. After partition, millions of Muslims trekked to Pakistan in what is now known as Bangladesh, while Indians and Sikhs headed the other way. Violence between Pakistan and India ensued. Within a year of the British leaving, 15 million people were displaced and between 1 and 2 million people were dead. Trains became the sites for mass murder during the migration. Trains filled with refugees crossing the border on each side were stopped, and everyone on board was murdered. Women were captured and raped. Carriages were set on fire with petrol, with people still inside. The only ones spared were the drivers, so they could transport their trains full of dead bodies to the final destination. The British knew about the train massacres, but they'd already washed their hands clean of India. Prime Minister Clement Attlee, writing to Lord Mountbatten, the last Viceroy of India in 1947, said, "Keep India united if you can. If not, save something from the wreck. In any case, get Britain out." Despite all this, the 4 million starved to death, the careless partition, the $45 trillion they stole from the Indian people, many don't think that the British did anything wrong in India. A YouGov poll in 2014 found that 59% of respondents thought the British Empire was something to be proud of, and only 19% were ashamed of its misdeeds. Trains, cricket, empire. What could possibly be wrong with that?
That last percentage that she gave about how 59% of people who were surveyed think that the British colonialisms was a good thing. This is what I mean when, as a country, when we're in schools and we're taught history, that's not the history we're taught. We're not taught about the death and the destruction that our country did to yours and to several other countries in the world. We're taught that Britain became this powerhouse and created the East India Company for trade, and that's as much as they tell us. And it's, you know, it is shocking when you watch stuff like this, where you read things in books and you learn that, and again, such as Winston Churchill, we're taught that he was our war hero and he led our country to victory in World War II, when that's not always the case. And obviously he's done some horrific things, particularly in India, with him saying about how the famine was caused because of them and the people, where it was actually him who decided to take the food away from a country and give it to soldiers. It does make me ashamed. And, you know, it's good that people who watch my videos tell me to react to videos like this, because it educates me. Hopefully it's going to educate some more people in my country. And if, you know, it comes up in any conversations, I'm gonna step forward and say, you know, we were completely wrong to do what this country did. And, you know, India's still paying for it in some ways. They're definitely, like, don't get me wrong, seeing you guys like doing everything you're doing at the moment is incredible, and you know, it's taken a long time. That's what I mean, it's taken a while. And had my country not done what it did all those years ago, you guys would be the powerhouse of this entire world, let's be honest. So it was really interesting to learn about the train side of things, because, you know, I did a reaction to a video where there was lots of artifacts from temples from India in the British Museum, and, you know, I got a lot of comments on that, talking about the history between our two countries. And again, we're told that, oh, when Britain was colonizing India, we gave India trains. Again, that's where that conversation ends. We're not taught the death and destruction that came along with all these trains, and the things that happened because of something that this country decided to do. And the fact that they made you pay for it as well, like, it's history that we're not told, and they're only telling us the good things about history, and it's not good. And since the whole Black Lives Matter thing has come out like a few months ago during lockdown, a lot of petitions are coming out about how history needs to be taught differently in schools. And I know the history of India being colonized by the UK is one of the petition, like is part of one of the petitions that I know I've signed, and I know loads of other people have signed. So hopefully things are gonna change, hopefully soon. You know, it's up to this government, but I have signed petitions to get this education taught in schools over in my country, because it is something that I was never taught at school, and I'm 24 and this is something I should have known a long time ago. So all I can say is sorry for the history that is between our two countries, and although it is history, and I know 90% of the comments on most of my videos, and I'm sure it will be the same on this, will be like, oh, we forgive but we'll never forget, and I completely understand that. I'm sure there'll be a small percentage who won't be as nice, but again, I can understand that there is hatred between the history of our two countries. But this is why I'm doing these videos, to educate myself, to hopefully educate others, and bring attention to how history is taught how history is taught in the schools over here, and hopefully we can get that changed. So thank you to the very large amount of people who suggested I watch this video. I hope you enjoyed my reactions. You know, it was quite uncomfortable to learn about that, but it's also good to get out of my comfort zone and learn about bad things that my country did in the past. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Thank you to my producer level patrons, and if you want to become a patron yourself, the link is always in the description below, along with my social media links for Instagram and Twitter. And if you have any other videos that you want me to react to, please put the links to them in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon for a new video. Bye.